Hiya, Angie here. Now, a few weeks ago, I did a video on red flags when it came to relationships with men. Now, being the fair person that I am, I decided and I thought that it would be a good idea to talk to men and ask them the things that they disliked and the red flags that they encountered when it came to women. Now, unlike the ladies who came out in full force and they spoke their truth, with the men, it was like pulling teeth. They ummed and they ahed, and they didn't really want to say what it is that was on their mind. Now, at first, I thought that maybe it was because I'm a woman and they didn't want to offend me. They thought that maybe I would take it personally. But then at the same time, they began to write to me personally and tell me their truths. And I couldn't quite understand that. Why write to me privately and not just put it out on the page? Then a friend of mine, he told me why he thought that was, and I will let you know what that reason is later on. But for now, ladies, that's it. Let's get into it. Let me tell you what it is. What are the things that men hate when it comes to relationships with you? No intro today because there's a lot to get through. So without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? A lot of men believe that women have special treatment because we can say and do whatever we want and nobody says anything to us. There are no real repercussions. Whereas men, on the other hand, are forced to keep silent and they can't really speak their truths. For example, women can talk about men's height all day, every day. But as soon as a man talks about a woman's weight, the heavens open and all hell breaks loose. Now, me personally, as an overweight woman, let me tell you something. I don't have a problem with a man saying that he prefers slim women. Why on earth would I? And I don't think a lot of women do. I mean, we don't have a problem with that. Everyone deserves and has the right to like what they like. What I do have a problem with, though, is the fact that if I talk about a man's height, I would say, I prefer a tall man. I'm a tall woman, so I would feel more comfortable with a tall man. Now, by me saying that, if a shorter man feels insulted or offended and feels hurt by that, I'm sorry, but I didn't mention it. I didn't say anything negative about him. I just spoke my truth on what I preferred. Men, on the other hand, tend not to say what they prefer, but they tend to talk about what they dislike. Instead of saying, you know what, I prefer a slim woman who goes to the gym every day, he would say, oh, I hate fat women who don't take care of their bodies. Well, that's wonderful, but nobody asked you. Talk about what you prefer. Talk about what you rather. Talk about what you like. And I don't think anybody on the planet would have a problem with that. Now, ladies, a lot of men believe that ladies are delusional because oftentimes a woman may be, let's say, not attractive, maybe slightly overweight, maybe has several children on tow, yet they expect to find a wealthy, good-looking, fit man to come and swoop in and take care of them. And in doing so, will skip by the normal guy. He probably works hard, but he's probably not so attractive and probably not so rich. So she's delusional. I ask you this. There are a lot of men who at the same time probably aren't the most attractive. Maybe they aren't so financially stable, yet they will be on social media all day, every day, on Instagram, looking at the Instagram baddies, trying to DM them, trying to date them. They will skip by the normal ladies who would probably love them with all their hearts. They will skip by those ladies. Is that delusional? You know what? I say this. As long as there's life, there's hope. So you know what? Go for it. Back in the day, it was kind of cute when a woman played hard to get. Men found it challenging, that elusive thing that they couldn't quite grasp, just slightly out of their reach. Oh yeah, they loved it. Oh yeah, it could be fun, it could be exciting. Now I believe There is just so much that's offered out there, or these apps and social media, that a guy, he doesn't have time to play games. He's not sitting there pining after you, because with every one woman who will play hard to get or say no, maybe there are several that would say yes. So if you like a guy, then maybe playing hard to get is not the way to go, because nowadays he can just pick up his phone, just scroll through, and it would be like, next. A lot of men feel that women just use them for their money. If they invite them out on a date, then women expect them to pay for the meals all the time, to pay their rent, to put gas in their car. They expect all this stuff. Is that what you're doing, ladies? Are you expecting men to pay for everything? Let me tell you this. Sometimes when I go out with my daughter, she's in one of those moods where everything she sees she wants. Oh, Mum, this top looks so lovely. Can you get it for me? This dress would be great for the party I'm going to next week. Mum, what about these trousers? Can you buy it for me? And I'm looking at her and I say, no. So what, do you think I have the money tree in the garden that I can just go and shake? Do you know how many songs I have to write to be able to buy that top? Do you know how many shows and gigs I have to do to be able to buy those trousers? So don't ask me again, because I ain't buying jack. I'm just here to window shop and to get my steps in. Nothing more and nothing less. All right? And so be it. I ain't buying anything because you annoyed me. All this asking, this incessant asking. Then there are other times when we go out and she doesn't say anything. And I say, you know what? This top looks nice. Do you want me to get it for you? And she'll say, no, Mum, you've already spent so much on me this month. That's fine, I'll make do. I mean, I've got things in my wardrobe. I've even got some things that I haven't worn yet. So I'll be fine. Thanks though, Mum. When she says things like that, I want to buy her the world. So I'm saying all of this to say that sometimes expecting less, you probably receive more. I'm just saying. Now, a lot of men are complaining that they do so much. They work hard, they pay the bills, they put up shelves, they do so much around the house. And instead of saying thank you, you don't really say anything, and you don't appreciate and acknowledge what they do. Ladies, come on now. You know that men are very delicate souls. You're supposed to praise them, every little thing that they do. If they put up a shelf and it's slanted, and even if you put a glass on it, it just slips right off, it doesn't matter. You say, thank you, darling. I really appreciate what you did. You did a great job. If they cook dinner and there's too much salt in it, you just pour yourself a tall glass of water and smile and say, thank you, honey. This is absolutely wonderful. It's the best meal I've ever tasted. You know, that's what you're supposed to do, ladies. So come on now, you can do better than that. Stop making these men feel so undervalued and not appreciated. And a lot of men think that women spend too much money on unnecessary things. One man actually wrote to me and asked, how much shoes and bags do women really need? I say they need as much as they want. Now, seriously, if you're pooling your money together, instead of putting money towards the household, she's buying stuff and the household is suffering from that, then obviously I quite agree. She has to put a stop on it. She has to kind of rein it in a little bit and think about the bigger picture and think about the family. But if she's working hard, taking care of business, doing what she's supposed to do, if she buys herself a couple of bags and a pair of shoes every now and again, to be quite honest, I don't see what the problem is. And if I were you guys, I would just let this one go. So your man is going to have a man's night out. So he's out the door, he's going to pick up Marcus. Before he even gets to Marcus's house, You've called him 100 times, asking him, are you sure you're going out with Marcus? Who else is going to be there with you? Are there going to be any women there? Are you sure? Is Marcus bringing his girlfriend? Because if he is, why couldn't you come? And she just bombards you with questions and questions, interrogation upon interrogation, ladies. Men don't like that. They don't want you to ask them anything. Is that what you're all doing out there, ladies? Interrogating these poor men? Is that what you're doing? Well, in a relationship, if there's no trust, is there really a relationship? One is supposed to be able to be relaxed and be at peace, knowing that her man is out, because she knows that he's not going to do anything to betray her trust or hurt her. And men, if you want to have that freedom to be able to have men's night out or to go out and do what you, because I frankly believe that you should. I don't see anything wrong with taking a time out and a man going out with his friends. Actually, I think it's a wonderful idea. You should also make sure that you act in a certain way to make your woman feel at peace. I love it when a man has his man's time, his friend's time. It's wonderful, because I love to have my alone time too. Ooh, this is a big one, ladies. This is a really big one. But I have to say it, I have to mention it, because a lot of men told me about this one. So I can't ignore it. I have to be fair, and I have to bring it up. A lot of men hate it when you use the children as a weapon against them. Now, personally, I understand that. You know, if it's one thing, if you believe that a man is dangerous when it comes to his children, then you protect them babies. But if it's just a case of you being disappointed and hurt because he doesn't love you anymore, so to hurt him back, you want to keep his kids from him, then I have to agree with the men. I don't think that's fair. Children need their mothers and they need their fathers. They need that balance. Both the roles as a mother and a father are just as important. Are you kidding me? I had my father in the home. He taught me how to read. He taught me how to write my name. He used to take me and my sisters to the park and stood there and pushed us while we were on the swings. My father was always there. When I was a child, I suffered from travel sickness. And it was terrible, folks. I used to get into a car or into a coach, and within half an hour, I was puking, I was hallucinating. It was a mess. So in my church, our church used to organize day trips. And of course, because it was like coach journeys, I couldn't go. So my mum used to take my sisters, and my dad would stay home with me. And what he used to do, he used to take me all around London and see the sights. He used to take me to Buckingham Palace and see the changing of the guards. He would take me out to dinner or go and have like a special meal. We would walk around. He would buy me little gifts. He did all of that so that when my sisters came home and they were telling me all about the day trip and what they did, then I wouldn't feel left out and I would have something to report to. All of this to say, that's what dads do. They lift you up. They give you support. They give you that love. And so why would you want to deprive your children of that, regardless of whether or not you and him are together? How many of you are familiar with this scene? Hi, baby, you all right? Mm-hmm. What's the matter? Something wrong? Nope. How was your day? It's all right. Aren't you talking to me? What did I do? I don't know. What did you do? Did you do something? I don't think so. But tell me, what did I do? Well, if you don't know, I don't see why I should have to tell you. Ladies, how many of you recognize that scene? I do. I have to be honest. I am pretty much like that too. If I'm in the mood or if you've done something to annoy me, I ain't saying jack and I don't want to. But I recognize it's not really fair. Men are not mind readers. And oftentimes they have no clue what they did. Now, a bit it annoys me. I believe they ought to know what they did, but they don't. Sometimes they're like little kids. You have to explain to them word for word for word what you want, what you don't want, what you need, and what they did. You have to be specific and you have to be to the point. If you're not, they're not going to get it, ladies. I promise you. And it's not because they're being horrible or because they're being mean or because they want to hurt you. It's that they don't get it. They don't know what they said to you last night that pissed you off. They don't know. So ladies, instead of being in a huff, instead of just kind of like rolling your eyes and not saying anything, just say to them, last night you said something that really hurt me. It hurt my feelings. And right now I'm just kind of processing it. So I just want to be left alone for a little bit. That would be fine. That way, just let them understand. And then afterwards you can have a conversation. And I'm saying this to you as I'm saying it to myself because I'm a little bit guilty of this too. Now this is a silly one. It's a small little thing, but I kind of get it. And that is, a lot of men can't stand it when you put lip gloss on because they want to, but they don't want all that gunk all over their lips and their face. So ladies, I suggest that if you're going out with that special someone, that you put on a matte lipstick like I have on today. That way that when he wants to smooch, nothing kind of transfers all over him. And you know what? I kind of get it because sometimes when I have like lip gloss on, my hair will stick to it and things like that. So I kind of get it. But to be honest with you, I never thought about it before. I never thought about how annoying it must be to men. So yeah, they make a point. I get it. I get it. I kind of see where they're coming from, don't you? Now, a lot of you are so critical in the things that he does, he cannot stand it. If he tries to cook you a good meal, it's not cooked enough and it's overcooked, or you could have paid more attention because it's slightly burnt. If he cleans the house, you missed the spot. He doesn't feel like doing anything because he already said that you didn't appreciate the things that he did. And when he does do the things, you criticize. So what's the point? So you know what? He sits down and he's not doing anything. So that's why sometimes when you're there moaning about, how come you're not helping me? He doesn't want to help you because he feels that why on earth should he? Because when he does, all you do is criticize anyway. So he says, you know what? I ain't doing jack. Because she's going to moan and criticize it anyway. So there you go, ladies. Don't make a rod for your own back. Tell these guys how wonderful they are. Now, this is a big one, ladies. Excuse me, I have to move. I'm suffering from a bad back. So I'm feeling pretty uncomfortable. So I'm going to shift a little bit in my chair. Now, ladies, this is a big one. This is a really big one, and I can't not mention it, but I think you kind of knew that it was coming. Another thing that men can't stand is when their women put on weight. One man said to me that he started to date Jessica Rabbit, but he ended up with Jabba the Hutt. I don't want to laugh, I really don't. Number one, just the fact that you see your woman and you can think of her in that way as Jabba the Hutt says a lot more about you than it does about her. And maybe the fact that if you think so negatively about your woman, that if you're that kind of a person to be so superficial about something like that, then maybe that's the reason why she's gaining the weight. Maybe it's an escape from you. Now, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I understand if, you fell in love with a woman a certain way and you want her to keep her shape. I don't see anything wrong with that. I really don't. And I say that as a woman who struggles with her weight. I don't see anything wrong with wanting your woman to be the best that she can be. Then you help her. Because I'm assuming that if you feel that way, you're fit, right? Because you'd be a hypocrite if you were putting on the pounds too and you weren't looking your best. So I'm assuming that, you go to the gym and you work out and you're fit and you're doing well and you're taking care of your body. But if that's the case, then help her. Talk to her. Be kind. Use kind words. But if in your mind you're using imagery like Jabba the Hutt, then my goodness, I mean, if I had somebody like that who said that about me, who thought that about me, I don't know. Well, to be honest with you, I do, because he would have to go. So ladies, if you want to keep your man interested, then try and be the best you that you can be. Ooh, I'm getting hot here. This is the last one, folks. And this one was across the board. Every man touched on this in one way or the other. They may have said other things, but they all mentioned this particular thing that they hate in women. They said, and the thing that they hate the most in women is a bad attitude, which I think just sums up everything else that they spoke about, right? Overcritical, argumentative, won't be held accountable for anything, nobody can tell you anything, always ready to pounce, always quick to anger, disrespectful. These are the things that men cannot stand. So ladies, what do you think? Do you agree with the things? Do you recognize yourself in some of the stuff? I personally do, to be honest with you. But I guess we are all a work in progress, right? Okay, now, there were other things that men mentioned that I didn't put on the list, and not because they weren't important, but there was just so much stuff that I kind of chose and kind of picked some of them out. And these are the ones that didn't make the list. They hate women who are actually in love with the bad boy, but they pretend to be in love with them, the good guy, because they think that he will be more willing to share his wealth and take care of them and their children. This is a thing that a couple of people mentioned, and that is that they dislike it when women take over their wardrobe. The women have all the wardrobe and that tiny little space that is allocated to the man. At the end, eventually, they try and take over that space too. So the man has nowhere to put his clothes. Women, are you doing this to these poor guys? Seriously? Another thing that men hate is hairy bodies. They like their women to be smooth. They like their women to be soft, and there's certain parts they don't want to see no hair. Got that, ladies? And finally, which is not least, because quite frankly, I should have put it up on the top, because to me, it would always be in the forefront, is hygiene. There's quite a few men that said that there are a few ladies that don't take care of themselves and don't clean themselves as much as they should do, and they dislike it and they find it distasteful and they find it disgusting. If that's the case, then I can't help but agree with them, because we should be taking care of ourselves and cleaning ourselves regularly, lady, and be nice and soft and perfumed and be, we ought to be. So I get it. Now, earlier on, I did say that a friend of mine told me why he thinks men wrote to me personally instead of writing on my Facebook page. And he said it's because a lot of women watch, look at, and control their man's social media. Is that right? I mean, I don't know. I have no clue. I'm naive. I have absolutely no idea about this stuff. So is that true? Are a lot of you controlling your man's social media? So he felt that he couldn't tell me the truth about what he hated because he was scared that you would see it? Is that what it is? I don't know. Let me know. Let me know in the comments down below if that's the case, because I honestly have no clue. So here we are at the end of another video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing to this channel. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's always a pleasure to see you, and it's a pleasure being with you. Looking forward to seeing you soon. But until then, be kind to yourself and to others. Take care. Bye for now. Ciao.